Yeah, I'm Joe Logan, the Director of Agricultural Programs for the Ohio Environmental Council, past President of the Ohio Farmers Union.
And what's your connection with CPA?
Well, I'm engaged in CPA because I look over food systems and the impacts that they have to the environment. Obviously, everybody globally needs to feed themselves. Cultures for millennia have been finding new and creative ways to do that. Since World War II, a dramatic change has transpired in the landscape in terms of the way people cultivate, produce food, and bring it to the marketplace globally. A great deal of industrialization, vast explosion in productivity, and along with that, a corollary of malicious side events or unfortunate side events that have to do with both the environmental implications and the market implications, just as Bill Bullard pointed out, the cattle industry. The consolidation of productive units into smaller, fewer and larger enterprises has been very, very destructive to the broader marketplace and to the resilience of our ability to produce and provide for the food needs of our society here. And the globalization of the food industry has been a rather destructive phenomenon because we have managed that trend so poorly. And now we have people in the United States producing food at a very productive means in a very efficient way, and yet they've actually driven the value of their food commodity down below the cost of production, and now are unable to support themselves as an economic unit. This has been duplicated across the globe as we've now used subsidized American products to crash the local markets in various places around the world. So it's a system that's horribly out of balance. We think that there is an incredible amount of value as bonding our interests together with those of manufacturers, those of workers around the world, and try to address the weak points, the weak links in our international trade policy in a way that provides a playing field so that individuals with the sweat of their brow and the intellect that they've accrued over generations and their infrastructure can produce for their own societies and support themselves.
What's your position with the CPA?
I happen to be the board member and the co-chair representing agriculture sector.
Okay. Does trade policy have an impact on pollution or the environment? If so, what?
Trade policy has a profound impact on the environment. We find in this country the phenomenon known as the circle of poison, whereby in some cases there are chemical manufacturers in the United States producing products which American producers may not use because it has been found to be destructive to the environment. Unfortunately, some of these compounds are exported to our global trading partners where they are legal, and so those traded competitors use the product, gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace, and then they are able to export those products back to our shores. We may not stop them here because it is regarded to be an unfair trade practice, and so we are subject to the same prohibitions that our government has already tried to protect itself.
What's the connection between trade and carbon emissions?
Well, once again, that is an enormous phenomenon. In this country right now, we are struggling with the decision of whether or not to cap our own carbon emissions in this country in every sector, the agricultural sector, the manufacturing sector, and having a great deal of difficulty doing that. One of the main impediments to that is that our international trading partners have told us in no uncertain terms they are not interested in going there. So Americans are confronted with the notion of deciding to do the right thing and paying a horrible economic cost, or dragging their heels and going into such agreement because our competitors won't. So in our view, the United States needs to show some leadership and step up to the plate and make some decisions, or make sure that the agreement is configured in such a way so that it doesn't create an imbalance.
Does offshoring cause an increase in air particulate emissions?
Oh, absolutely, by far. We find that the producers of either manufactured products or agricultural products from other countries in many cases have a far more dangerous carbon footprint than those manufacturers and producers in this country. So to the extent that we outshore our manufacturing, to the extent we offshore our agricultural production, we are doing so at our own peril.